Hello, let's have a look at implementing layer 2 firewall filters. So what we're going to do, we are going to take the MAC address of PC3 and we're going to apply a filter on XE004 to block its MAC address. And let's have a little look and see how that's done. It's very similar to how you do a normal firewall filter for layer 3. Let's jump onto the command line of the switch and have a gander. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our edit firewall hierarchy. Sweet. And now we're going to set up our filter for Ethernet switching. So we'll do set family Ethernet switching. Okay, now what we can do, we can now set, and now we need to put our filter on there. So filter, and we need to give it a name. So let's just call it MAC for argument's sake. And we need to do our term as well. So we do term 1, and we're going to do from. And if we do our question mark, we're going to scroll down here until we see our source MAC address right there. So source MAC address, and let's have a look on here and we'll get our MAC address. So show IP. Okay, there's our MAC address, and let's go back to the switch. Okay, so our source MAC address is going to be from here, and now we're going to do our then statement. So then, now we can decide what we want to do. We can either accept, discard, just do a syslog on there. So I'm going to discard these packets. So then discard. Now if we do a show, we can see that on our term 1, if it comes from the source MAC address, and you see we have a side notation of a /48 there, then we're going to discard them. Now because this is a firewall filter, there's an implicit deny at the end, so we need to then do our term 2 and accept. Okay, so let's do our term 2 and then accept. Term 2, then accept. Sweet. Let's show now. Okay, great stuff. So what we need to do, we need to now apply this as an inbound filter on our interface. So let's do a top and set interface XE 0/0/ unit 0 family Ethernet switching and filter, and if we do a question mark, this is going to be an input filter because it's going to be coming in on that interface. And if we do another question mark, we see we have MAC there. Alrighty, so let's see if this actually works before we commit it. So let's do a ping. Actually, I've already got the command there. Continual ping to 10.10.10.3. All right, let's go back onto our switch and let's commit this, and let's go back now onto PC3 and see what happens. Okay, so we're still pinging while it's still, oh, there we go. Now it's terminated. Okay, so had we chosen the log option as well when we done our then discard and we could done then log, then we could have seen that in the actual log messages as well, that there would have been a blockage, not a blockage, a discard rather. But yeah, as we can see, layer 2 filters, firewall filters, are basically just the same as a layer 3 firewall filter. You have a lot of options that you can actually choose from. So let's have a look at trying to set up a VLAN filter now. So let's go into our edit firewall, Ethernet, family Ethernet switching. Okay, so we're going to do set filter and we're going to call it VLAN, and term 1, so term 1 from, now what we're going to do, we're going to do it from subnet to subnet. So we want to ensure that only anything that is on the subnet 10.10.10 10.0/24 is allowed to go into the VLAN, and then we want to ensure that anything on that subnet is allowed to go out through the VLAN as well. So we're going to do from, and it's going to be IP source address, and we'll do 10.10.10.0/24, and then we're going to do our then accept. Now we're going to do our term 2, and this is going to be from IP destination address. Oops. And we're going to put the same subnet in as well, because we're catching all /24, 0/24, and then accept again on that, and let's do a show. Okay, so what we're saying is that we're allowed to go into the VLAN anything that is on this subnet, and we're allowed to go out of the VLAN, i.e. from one interface to another, anything that is in the same subnet. So this is again another form of security for the VLANs itself. Now we know we have an implicit deny at the end of the firewall filter, but that's fine. That's what we actually want. We don't want any other subnets either from the source or its destination to make it through that actual VLAN. So let's go top, and let's apply this to the VLAN itself. So let's do edit VLANs, and it's customer 1. And we're going to set the forwarding options now. So set forwarding options, do a question mark, and see we have our filter here. So our filter, and we need to decide whether this is an inbound or outbound. So this is going to be inbound in this case, input filter, and we're going to choose VLAN. Okay, let's do a show. Okay, so we've applied an input filter into our VLAN 10. Fantastic, let's commit that. So we created our filter with our subnet for VLAN 10 for both the destination and the source address, and now we've applied that to the actual VLAN itself. So that means that nothing will be able to go into that VLAN now unless it's from the 10.10.10.0/24 subnet. So of course, like any studies you've done with firewall filters and policy options, there's a lot of options that you can go through, test them out and see exactly what you can do. You'll be surprised at exactly how flexible you can be with these firewall filters. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to do firewall filters for layer 2. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.